Hey guys, Kyle the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for Eden Zero Chapter 94. And before I even get into the review, I need to correct the record a little bit. When I said last week that it was possible that it was possibly because of COVID, that it was possibly because of the current situation that Hiro Mashima that last week's review was delayed. But as I learned, it was actually Golden Week is the reason why last week's review was like a week, was delayed a week, which yeah. So just kind of me quickly correcting the record on that. It wasn't the current situation. It was Golden Week is the reason why we didn't get why last week's chapter was late. But honestly, in my defense, with currently what's going on in the world right now, it's kind of hard to tell as it's kind of easy to forget about like Golden Week and whatnot. Like Golden Week is kind of one of those things where you don't really think about when you're thinking about more about are these manga authors, are they safe, are they protected and whatnot, and honestly with and honestly, it can. And honestly, I think it could still happen to Mashima. I just don't know. But it could still happen to Mashima. But I guess we can assume that where the magazine he's working for has a few more like appropriate measures taken during this pandemic, during this crisis, I guess you could say. So yeah, just me correcting the record on that one. Um, but with that said, let's get into the review itself. Like I said, Eden Zero, Chapter 94. So before getting into the sort of nitty gritty, I have to go on a slight rant about the first page of the chapter with the first Pinot analysis profile on Ivory at the beginning, because I don't normally talk about those like Pinot analysis profiles, but in this particular case, Mashima kind of forced my hand. Ivory has 2 stars on her attack power. Yeah, considering how she dominated Daichi in her fight, both literally and figuratively, I gotta call bullshit on that Mashima for. I gotta go bullshit on Mashima for that one, because she has to have at least a 4-star attack at least. Like the only consolation I'm willing to give is that her 4-star ether power makes up for her lack of attack power. But it's like really only two. But even then, it's like really only 2 stars. Really, I at least give her 3, Mashima. Like seriously, only 2 stars. Like that. There's something even like here's the thing. When it comes to a character like Ivory, she is of course a healer, so it makes sense that her healing abilities would far surpass her attack abilities. But she's kind of proven to be a bit of a brawler, so yeah, 2 stars in the attack. I can't exactly say I 100% believe that, and I don't know why I'm getting so. Honestly, I don't know why I'm getting so triggered. Pretty much triggered, but by this simple stat sheet, but it really did. Like, I guess it's kind of one of those things where Ivory has kind of become one of my personal favorite characters among the Starshines. So my again, I still love Eden Zero, but I think Mashima might have done Ivory a little dirty with this one. Just saying. um. And alright, getting into the nitty-gritty though, let's talk about the fight between Shiki and Drakken Joe, because after last week's chapter, the common thread in my comment section was worry of how the fight will go down how like the fight will play out, how it'll go down, and Shiki's ability in order to survive another fight with Drakken Joe, considering he didn't even get the chance to fight him, he was absolutely killed last time. And after this week, I can definitely see why. Because as we see, for every attack that Shiki threw at Joe himself would have an equally powerful counter maneuver, which just highlighted how much of a skilled strategist we've come to know him as. But here's the thing. Here's the rub. The fact that Joe is having to counter Shiki's attacks to begin with shows Shiki isn't making it easy for Drakken Joe to begin with. And while subtle, you can clearly see that Shiki is adapting to Drakken Joe's fighting style. Like, now the bigger question is whether or not Shiki can beat him alone. And no, I don't. After this chapter, I do not think Shiki can beat him alone. But which is, and it's definitely shown through the fact that Mashima is already laying the groundwork in order for Jin, in order to ally with our heroes and back Shiki up. Just again with the whole thing of Jin confronting Rebecca's group being confronted, like you can clearly tell that's set up in itself that he's eventually going to come over to their side and whatnot. But I think more than anything, I think the wild card in all this is going to be the wild card in all this in this whole fight in order to defeat Drakken Joe. I think it's going to be Sylph now, because it's one of those things where it very well just could be Jin and Shiki fighting Drakken, but I think Sylph is basically so scared and so just traumatized by the sheer idea of Drakken Joe absorbing her that she's just going to act on her impulses and just kind of like throw her hand in that fight too, just on mere like impulse and just out of pure fear of getting absorbed. Like I think Sylph could possibly just throw herself in, so that's gonna be like basically 3 people taking on Drakken Joe, which if that is the case, that it's going to be like the Wind siblings and Shiki, then I think that there is actually a better shot at defeating Drakken Joe. Then that's of course assuming that she is even going to throw herself into that ring. Yeah. With that being said, though, for now it is going to be Jin versus Rebecca and her group, and I'm not going to lie, while I'm interested in seeing where that fight goes, really it's just kind of a filler fight until Ivory actually arrives to negotiate with Jin and again get him on their side in order to convince them to fight alongside Shiki. And it's, don't get me wrong, while it is a fun setup for fight, it is a little predictable just from how we know how it's going to end, unless Mashima throws another curveball at us. But yeah, it's really one of those things where we do kind of have a general idea of how things are going to play out from here, which arguably I did see as a problem I knew this arc would come across eventually with the whole idea of Rebecca turning back time. And because of that, I'd say outside of the Drakken Joe fight, the chapter as a whole is definitely one of the weaker ones and did fall just a little short of build up for me. That's kind of, I think, the biggest issue I have with it. And okay, so I wasn't actually going to talk about Lobelia, but her moment in this chapter with Homura was interesting to say the least, because now that she knows Rebecca was trying to save her, obviously this is going to go a long way towards both of them starting to respect each other. But after seeing both of them talk, both Homura and Lobelia talk, I almost wonder if Lobelia is going to be working some social media magic in order to turn the people against Drakken Joe. Like, probably not, but it feels like Mashima is building up something, is building up her role in order to do something now with that one scene of her talking with Homura. I just don't know what exactly it's going to be, but again, I'm pretty sure it's going to have something to do with her like social media account and whatnot. Okay, because they did make a point, I think it was last week, in order to say that basically that Lobelia shouldn't use her social media account or something, which she's probably gonna end up doing it. So yeah. Now, I guess one final thing to address is the ending, and more specifically how the chapter ended. And for many people, I'm sure it did seem like the chapter ended on a little abruptly, and that it felt like there was a page missing. But no, according to a Cradle Scooper, who handles all things Eden Zero, that apparently that last page is how Mashima chose to end the chapter. And yeah, it did feel like, whether intentionally or not, he did cut it off in a weird way, and I feel it could have ended the chapter on a bit more of a conclusive shot. But and I guess it's not a huge problem, but it does make the chapter feel just a little incomplete, I guess is the best way to put it. So yeah, I don't really know what the yeah, it's just it's a weird chapter in that regard. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Crunchyroll. Dead Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.